who can think differently, most scientists, most of the time, need to think the same way. As described by the historian Thomas Kuhn in his 1962 book The Structure of Scientific Revolutions, their jointly held interpretations or paradigms guide day-to-day research, shaping both the questions that get asked and the answers deemed legitimate. So, both contrarians and consensus builders play a necessary role in science, but as we'll see, they often clash. Though this may be putting it too lightly, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that they often end up despising each other outright. The problem, as the consensus builders see it, is that while contrarianism has its place, it can easily be taken too far. They argue that if a paradigm is supported by overwhelming evidence, then persisting in rejecting it, preferring to promote one's own radical theory in its place, can quickly degenerate into lunacy. It becomes tantamount to rejecting science itself. The contrarians, on the other hand, stress that there are always different ways to interpret evidence, and that the evidence might even be incomplete. Perhaps a crucial piece of the puzzle is missing. They warn that rigid conformity can pose a far graver threat to science because it blinds researchers to possible new interpretations. I find myself sympathetic to both sides in this debate. I accept that realistically the conventional scientific wisdom is almost certainly right. Scientists, after all, are highly trained to evaluate evidence. If it has persuaded most of them to favor one interpretation, it's probably because that genuinely is the best one. But I have enough of a contrarian in me to find myself happy that the iconoclasts are out there asking awkward questions, stirring up the pot, even if, at times, they may come across as totally nuts. On occasion, maybe not often, but every now and then, the wild, unorthodox theory that seems to defy common sense does end up being vindicated. Which leads to the main reason for my fascination with weird theories: sheer curiosity. When someone comes up with a truly outrageous idea that completely flies in the face of orthodox opinion, I can't help it. I want to know what their argument is, and part of me wonders, is it possible they could be right? Is their alternative point of view simply crazy, or could it be genius? That's the fun of these theories. They offer up the thrill of unbridled speculation. They tackle some of the greatest questions in science about creation, the nature of the universe, the origin of life and our species, the emergence of consciousness and the rise of civilization, while advancing seemingly absurd answers to them. But are the answers really that crazy, given how many unknowns surround all these topics? That's the element of uncertainty that serves as their hook, giving these theories their power to win converts. By exploring these heretical ideas, you can venture briefly into intellectually off-limit areas, and you can find out if any of them can possibly seduce you to their side. Perhaps they'll cast doubt on subjects that you thought were entirely settled, or that didn't even seem to be problems at all. It's my intention to give these theories a chance to persuade you. Therefore, I've tried to provide a fair reconstruction of what the arguments for them are, even if that risks making me seem overly sympathetic towards them at times. Although in every case, I've also made sure to explain why these theories are rejected by the appropriate experts. What I won't do is tell you whether I think any of them are right or wrong. I'll let you decide their worth for yourself. And if you do end up concluding that the conventional wisdom is correct, and that these theories really are crazy, I'd maintain that the time spent considering them still won't have been wasted. The classicist Mary Beard once argued, while discussing the theory that Homer was a woman, which we'll examine in the final section of this book, that it's possible for an idea to be usefully wrong. I fully agree with her. I believe that a provocative idea, even if it's absolutely mistaken, can jolt us out of our intellectual rut. The exercise of stepping outside of what's familiar can shake up our thinking and provoke us to question our assumptions, revealing that it might be possible to look at what we took for granted in an entirely new way. And on a somewhat more practical level, these weird theories do offer an offbeat way to learn quite a bit about standard science because they constantly engage with the dominant scientific schools of thought, even while disputing them. It's like taking a